Well, let's find out how it was. Here's Richard.
We live in a relatively modern day society. The era of the internet, they say. But it's shocking to know that nearly 5.8 million of us still believe in superstitions. I wonder if that's true. Let's go find out. Can you tell me, what is the most common superstition that you've ever heard?
Walking under a ladder.
Well, obviously 13 is one of them, the number.
Maybe not putting umbrellas up indoors.
The idea not to walk in between a gap. Whenever you see a pavement, not to walk on the lines in there.
I think it's got to be the 3 drain pipes.
Salute the magpie, yeah.
Walking underneath the signpost.
Signpost, yeah.
If you see a black cat, that's about, if a black cat cross your path.
Yeah, and would you walk under a ladder?
No.
No?
No.
You wouldn't walk under a ladder?
No way would I walk under a ladder.
Why would you not
I
walk?
was told from a child that it was bad. Oh, and not taking heather and stuff from gypsies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if you don't have the heather off them, you're cursed.
I was born on the 13th,
Oh, okay.
And I think that's, actually, I love the number 13.
If I can avoid walking under a ladder, then I will. But if it's going to cause me more time, then I just won't bother, and I'll just walk on 3 drain pipes or walk under a ladder.
Really, I think it's a load of nonsense. I think if you followed every superstition, you wouldn't be able to do anything.
I think I'm conscious of these things, but I deliberately try to do the opposite.
According to the Daily Mail, these are the most widely recognised superstitions that are still practised in Britain today. And exactly like the public mentioned earlier, walking under a ladder is the most feared superstition among us Brits. So most of us acknowledge that these superstitions exist. But how many of us know where they came from or how they started? We are going to meet Emeritus Professor Bernard Capp from the University of Warwick to delve further into this mystery.
Richard.
Hi.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. So Professor, were these common superstitions conceived here in the UK?
Most superstitions have a broader background. Most of them are extending right across Europe. In some cases they go back a very long time, all the way back to the Middle Ages, even back to the Greeks and the Romans, to classical antiquity.
So growing up, what do you think caused us to adopt some of these superstitions?
I think it's much the same today, oddly enough, as it was 2,000 years ago, which is that we don't have a total control over our own lives and our own destiny. We have more than we used to, because we now have modern science and modern medicine, but not total control. And superstitions seem to be all linked to the idea of averting misfortune or bad luck and bringing good luck.
So is there anything that science can offer an answer to this? Is there any scientific fact behind them?
Most of these things are very difficult to find any rational basis for, or indeed to trace the origins. In most cases, we have no idea where these things grew up.
So the British Medical Journal published a report to say actually less accidents happened on Friday the 13th than any other day in the year. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on that are that probably it means that people were conscious Friday the 13th, or that's a tricky day, dangerous day, I better be extra careful crossing the road, driving, not doing anything risky. So in that sense, it's almost self-perpetuating. Because you're being very cautious, it almost it works. But there's no real scientific rationale for that.
So do you think that superstitions will have any significance in our future? Do you think we're going to continue to be superstitious, or will it kind of fizzle out?
I think it will survive. Who knows at what level it will survive? And these things don't have the sort of elite respectability that some of them at least had a few generations or centuries ago. But even with scientific or medical advances, we're never going to have total control over our own day-to-day fortunes and whatever. And that means I think people will all feel that need. It helps psychologically, emotionally at that sort of level. So in that sense, science and superstition are not actually in competition. They're doing rather different things.
Superstitions will always be an interesting talking point in our culture. Honestly, I don't think we'll ever get bored of it. Whether or not you believe it is up to you. I guess you have to ask yourself, are you superstitious?
So it is about luck anyway.
Well, it depends on how you look at it.